A Yuletide revelation. Setting: a quaint village in the English countryside, December 24, 2023. As the frost-covered rooftops of Lyric Hollow twinkled beneath a blanket of freshly fallen snow, Naomi eagerly layered herself in a thick sweater and scarf, anticipation bubbling in her chest. Christmas Eve had always been special in their little village, an evening filled with tradition, joy, and the unmistakable scent of pine and cinnamon wafting through the air as families prepared for the celebration. This year, she was particularly excited because it was the evening of the annual Yule log hunt, a cherished practice that brought the community together to choose the biggest log for their bonfire and subsequent festivities. As she stepped out of her cottage, the cold air nipped at her cheeks, but Naomi's heart was warm with eagerness. Her eyes quickly found her best friend, Clara, among the gathering crowd. Clara's auburn hair fell delicately over her shoulders, and she wore a vibrant red coat that made her seem even more radiant against the white backdrop. Naomi felt her stomach flutter. There was admiration, yes, but on this particular evening it felt different. Over the years, those fluttering feelings had begun metamorphosing into something deeper. Yet Naomi brushed it off, drawing strength from her conviction that they were just the innocent pangs of friendship. "Naomi!" Clara called, her voice ringing like a sweet bell. She hurried over, linking her arm with Naomi's as they began walking closer to the edge of the woods. "I can't wait to find the perfect log this year," she exclaimed. Naomi's heart danced as she smiled at her friend, recalling how they had found a log last year that was a perfect fit for decoration, adorned with colorful ribbons and twinkling lights. Their laughter echoed through the chill as they wandered deeper into the woods, following the crowd in search of the perfect piece of timber. Yet, as they approached a particularly majestic tree, a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. There stood Oliver, Naomi's well-meaning but overly persistent suitor, his round glasses fogged from the cold. Despite his charms, Naomi knew her heart had never strayed towards him. "Hey Naomi," he said, trying to catch her attention. "I was just thinking. I'm really going to focus on the hunt right now. Aren't we all?" Naomi said, hoping he would take the hint. Oliver's expression faltered slightly, but a spark of determination crossed his face. "I've been thinking about our future. I want to discuss us." Naomi didn't even have time to respond as Clara, sensing Naomi's discomfort, interrupted. "Naomi, look! That one looks perfect." She pointed excitedly at a beautifully gnarled log a few paces away. Oliver retreated, frustration clear across his face as Clara seized Naomi's hand, urgency bubbling beneath her excitement. "This log, isn't it beautiful?" Clara mused, her eyes sparkling in the twilight. But Naomi's heart was suddenly heavy. How could she ignore what had just been put on the table? As Clara and Naomi bent down to examine the log, Oliver stepped back, mouth slightly agape. It was then that Naomi felt compelled to speak, the breathless honesty of the moment taking hold of her. "Clara, can we talk?" Naomi asked, her voice trembling slightly, a swell of emotions threatening to spill over. Clara turned, surprise flashing across her face. "Of course." She led Naomi away from the crowd, their arms slipping out of each other's grasp momentarily as they traversed the snow. "Naomi, what's wrong?" Clara asked gently, her brow creasing with concern. I think I need to tell you something, and it might change everything," Naomi began, her voice shaking as she looked into Clara's warm, inviting eyes. "You know that I can't explain why, but I love you. Not as just a friend, but more." Clara blinked, her mouth parting slightly in realization, stunned silence falling between them like the soft snow around them. The world around them faded, until all that existed was the two of them in the cold night. Finally, after what felt like an age, Clara took a breath and smiled. "Naomi, I've felt the same way for so long. I just didn't know how to say it," she replied, her eyes glistening. The confession hung between them, tangible and perfect. "But," Naomi began, her insecurities crawling back, "what about Oliver? Oliver doesn't matter." Clara stepped closer, emotions bubbling forth. What matters is you. Us. The enormity of their shared feelings settled like the snowflakes around them. Naomi stepped forward, wrapping her arms around Clara, laughing through her tears. What do we do now? Clara pulled back slightly, excitement swirling in her eyes. Let's find that log first. Then I have an idea for how to celebrate our new beginning. Moments later, as the town began lighting its bonfire with their chosen log, Naomi's heart swelled with warmth, not only from the fire, but from the promise of what lay ahead with Clara by her side. Perhaps one day they would look back on this night as the moment they ignited something beautiful amidst the cold. A love that felt like home. Bonfire crackled and sparked against the darkened sky, illuminating the faces of the townsfolk gathered closely. Laughter mingled with the scent of roasted chestnuts and mulled wine, creating a warm and festive atmosphere. But for Naomi and Clara, surrounded by the joy of their friends and families, the real celebration was only beginning. As they settled around the fire, Clara leaned her head against Naomi's shoulder, the warmth of their closeness igniting a new kind of spark in Naomi's heart. The other villagers chattered animatedly, discussing their wishes for the new year, while the couple found solace in a cozy corner, wrapped in a shared blanket. Do you want to go for a walk? Clara suggested, glancing up with a mischievous twinkle in her eye. I know a perfect spot near the river. It's magical at night, especially with the snow. Naomi's heart raced at the thought of sneaking away, just the two of them. Let's do it, she said, her eyes gleaming with excitement. Carefully, they stood up and slipped away from the crowd, feeling the chill of the winter air wrap around them like a familiar embrace. Clara held Naomi's hand tightly, guiding her through the twinkling lights and snowflakes as they navigated towards the riverbank. When they finally reached their destination, the scene was breathtaking. The river glimmered under the moonlight, and the snow-covered banks sparkled like a million tiny diamonds scattered across the landscape. Clara spun around, her spirit alive with joy, and Naomi couldn't help but laugh, her heart lightening in the clarity of the moment. It's beautiful here, Clara breathed, her voice a whisper against the soft sounds of water lapping at the banks. Almost as beautiful as you, Naomi replied, her heart racing as she stepped closer. It felt right, honest, natural, as if a dam inside her had finally burst, unleashing everything she had ever felt but never dared to voice. Clara turned, their faces inches apart, breaths mingling in the chilly air. I can't believe we're finally here, Naomi. I've wanted this for so long, Clara admitted, her eyes shimmering with emotions. Me too, Naomi confessed, the words flowing easily now. I thought maybe I was imagining things. I was so scared to mess things up, but I didn't want to hold back anymore. I'm glad, Clara said softly, leaning in until their foreheads touched. I'm so glad. With an electric tension crackling between them, Clara closed the gap, their lips meeting in a gentle kiss that felt like everything and nothing at once. A sweet burst of warmth enveloped them, pushing away the cold as their feelings poured out, unbounded and free. As they stepped back, both breathless, Clara whispered, "What now, my dear?" Naomi stepped back slightly, a playful grin on her face. Well, I was thinking we should probably celebrate our newfound love with a little mischief. How about we steal a few chestnuts from the bonfire? A late night, illicit snack to commemorate our first night together. Clara couldn't help but laugh, her spirit rekindling the playful energy that had always fueled their friendship. You're on. But we have to be stealthy. The two girls navigated their way back, crouching low and giggling like children plotting their antics. When they reached the bonfire, they peeked around, making sure the coast was clear, and then stealthily snatched a bag of warm, roasted chestnuts. With their prize in hand, they made a break for it, their laughter echoing through the night. They eventually found their way to a secluded spot beneath the tall birch trees, the glimmering stars twinkling above them, each one a reminder of all the magic in their lives. They settled down on the snow, tossing back a chestnut and savoring the warmth as they wrapped themselves in the blanket again. This is perfect, Clara said, her eyes sparkling with mischief as they shared the earthy delicacies. I could get used to this. Naomi couldn't stop smiling, her heart swelling with happiness. Me too. I want to make every Christmas Eve like this from now on. What if it could be even better? Clara thought aloud, her tone growing serious and bright at the same time. What if every day could be like this? Naomi felt a small flutter of uncertainty but pushed it aside. I'd love that. I want to explore everything with you, Clara. This is just the beginning. With the warmth of the roasted chestnuts, the cold air, and the enveloping love that wrapped around them like the blanket they shared, both girls felt invincible. As they gazed into the distance at the twinkling lights of Lyric Hollow, they felt the first sense of belonging and peace of the evening. Little did they know, under the canopy of stars, this moment was just the first of many that would shape their story together, weaving a tapestry of love that would endure through the years. Whether they faced challenges or triumphs, snowy winters or sunny days, Naomi knew in her heart that with Clara, she had found her forever. And she could hardly wait for the adventures yet to come. The stars twinkled overhead. Naomi and Clara finished off the last of their roasted chestnuts, their laughter echoing softly in the stillness of the night. Clara leaned back against the snow, leaving a perfect imprint of her figure as she gazed up at the vast expanse of the sky. You know, she began softly, glancing sideways at Naomi, I used to wish on stars that I'd find someone who understands me, someone who really sees me. I never truly believed it would happen. Naomi's heart swelled with affection as she watched Clara's face glow in the soft light of the moon. I feel the same. I always felt like I was the odd one out until you came into my life, she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. When we're together, it feels like everything falls into place. Clara turned her head, a flicker of vulnerability crossing her features. Do you think we can really make this work? I mean, with everything that's going on in the world. The moment was tender, filled with the weight of their emotions. Naomi understood the question held more than just their relationship. It spoke of their futures, the uncertainties that lay ahead in a world that never seemed to slow down. Naomi took a breath, feeling the snow crunch beneath her as she shifted closer. I believe we can. There might be obstacles, but we'll face them together. For the first time in my life, I feel brave, not just because of my feelings for you, but because I know we're a team. I'll always stand by your side. Clara smiled, a mix of relief and hope dancing in her eyes. I wish we could pause this moment forever. Just you, me, and the stars. Naomi intertwined her fingers with Clara's, their warmth juxtaposing the chilling air around them. Maybe we can create moments like this every day. Every time we're together, we can make it special. Clara's face lit up. You promise? Her voice was earnest, the sincerity in her gaze melting any lingering hesitation Naomi held. I promise, Naomi said firmly, squeezing Clara's hand. Let's make our own traditions. Start with tonight and find something magical in each day. As they sat beneath the snow-dusted trees, the rest of the world faded away. Time became fluid, lost in the memories being created. The duo shared stories of their childhood, dreams, and the adventures that awaited them. Clara spoke of her dreams of traveling and becoming an artist, while Naomi shared her aspiration of writing. An undefined longing to capture moments just like this, allowing others to feel the connection they had discovered. As the moon rose higher, Clara turned contemplative. You know, I think we should pursue our dreams together. Maybe we can travel to art shows or write about our experiences. Explore places that inspire creativity. Together. Together, Naomi echoed, her heart racing with excitement. They could create a life full of exploration and passion, igniting their shared dreams while nurturing their relationship. The thought of embarking on adventures with Clara made her feel invincible. But there was still an untouched subject lurking beneath the surface, the realities of relationships, the fear of societal acceptance, and the expectations from their families. Clara mustered the courage to voice her concern. What do we tell people? About us? About how we feel? Naomi sighed. turning to Clara with a serious expression. Love is beautiful, and it doesn't fit neatly into a box that others can understand. We'll do it our way, and if we're true to ourselves, the right people will support us. Right, Clara nodded, her earlier concerns temporarily alleviated. I guess we can figure it all out together. They didn't realize how long they had been sitting there until the air began to grow colder. The crackling of the bonfire still echoed in the distance, reminding them of the warmth of the festivities they had left behind. Silent agreement passed between them. Let's go back, Naomi suggested, brushing the snow away from her coat as she stood up, pulling Clara along with her. But let's be the ones who surprise everyone with the big news. You know, the kind of surprise that makes people forget about holiday traditions for just a moment. What do you mean? Clara laughed. We tell them we're in love, Naomi declared boldly, her heart pounding at the idea. We own it. We make it real beginning tonight. As they made their way back to the celebration, the thought of stepping into the light together filled Naomi with a sense of courage. Holding Clara's hand firmly, she could envision the moments of joy, surprise, and sometimes disbelief on the faces of their friends and families as they shared the truth of their hearts. Once they reached the warmth of the bonfire, the atmosphere buzzed with laughter, stories, and songs. Friends danced and music filled the air, making the evening cozy and vibrant.